Norm again, and I just want to tell you about a guitar, a very special piece of memorabilia. We deal in vintage guitars, we deal in pro quality guitars, we deal in beginner guitars, all the way up the ladder, and then we do memorabilia, which is guitars that were owned by famous artists. This was one of Joe Bonamassa's very first Les Paul guitars. I think it may have been actually the first. This is a custom shop guitar, an R8, heavily flamed. Joe actually put the black parts on this. He put the Bigsby on it. It's got the aged pickup covers, but it's very, very cool. And if you look at the headstock there, it says Bonamassa on the headstock. And this is a guitar that was on Joe's tour bus. There was a painting of a guitar, and it was this particular guitar, and it was it's very highly documented. I just sold it to a friend of mine from Biloxi, Mississippi, and just something really cool. A big piece of Joe Bonamassa history right here. It's a 1965 pre-CBS Stratocaster. It's three-tone sunburst, which is, and the condition is really good. What you'll notice is the transition logo, gold logo, which is a little thicker than the logo that preceded it. It's got the pearl dots rather than the clay dots. White pick guard. And old style bridge, obviously. If you look on the back, there is really not a lot of wear. It's still an L plate, L serial number plate. It's got the older style tuners. This is a guitar that has very low miles, a few little dings and stuff like that, but really an exceptional example of this guitar. And this guitar is 100% straight. And I hope you like it. This is a 65 Strat pre-CBS and one of the finest examples we've had. This is a D'Angelico New Yorker. This is an 18-inch body. This was kind of their answer to the Super 400. 18-inch body, spruce top, bound F-holes. This is a reproduction guard. Other than that, the guitar is original. Beautiful stair-stepped tailpiece. Just very Art Deco designs. Has the New Yorker logo up on top and multiple plied bindings. Beautiful flame maple back and sides, flamey neck, Grover Imperial tuners, multi-ply binding, as you can see. And this again was their top of the line of the non-cutaway guitars. This one is from 1942. So this was an important piece of archtop history. All the top guitar players in New York at the time had to have a D'Angelico guitar. This was like, if they could afford it, this was a must. So you're looking at something that's a real piece of history. 4-pole piece, P90 pickup. It's got the older style speed knobs. This is just kind of a wacky one. A lot of these tenor guitars ended up going to banjo players that wanted to play guitar. It's 4-string. This was sort of their, entry-level jazz guitar that was acoustic electric in a tenor. You don't see very many of these. Again, there's very few people that play them. One of the guys who's using them most recently is Daryl Hall from Hall & Oates. But there's a lot of, again, they were mainly banjo players, ukulele players that played tenor already, that played 4-string. And there's no absolute set way that they have to be tuned, but they're just very functional, and they can be tuned to the higher strings of a regular guitar or tuned like a tenor banjo. So very cool little guitar, and this goes into the oddball file. The first L7s were 16-inch body guitars. There were a few different models that they did in the 16, then they went to the 17-inch. A lot of the difference was the inlays. Some of them had these picture frame inlays on some of the very early ones. Then they went to the 17-inch body, non-cutaway. And this one here is a 1963. This is a 17-inch body, cutaway acoustic in beautiful condition, solid spruce top. typical L7 tailpiece, which I used on several other models as well. It's got beautiful flame maple back and sides, flame maple neck, original tuners, Clousons. And, this is just a beautiful example. And there's had a couple repairs. This was the top of the line. The fancier and top of the line Martins always had this mother of pearl trim around the outside. Pyramid bridge. There was a top crack that has been repaired. This is a repro pyramid bridge, but it's exactly right, done perfectly. It's been refretted with bar frets, but it's one of the nicest, most beautiful ones you'll ever see. And 1928, they have the slotted headstock and a flower pot up on top.
Anyway, listen,
Brazilian rosewood sides and back, quarter sawn. Original tuners, again, slotted head. This was also the embossed logo back here. But this is one of the most important guitars. Historically, this was the top of the line. They made very few. People like Jimmy Rogers would have a guitar like this, and it doesn't get much cooler than this. This is a major Martin guitar right here. This was the top of the line at the time. There were no D models. This is before the Ds, so this was the largest body they made at the time, which is a 000 slotted head 45.